So let's start with the Housemaid. So it's like the 90s never happened. So this is an adaptation of a novel by Frida McFadden, which I haven't read, adapted by Rebecca Sonnenschein, and directed by Paul Feig. Is it Feig? Feig. Paul Feig. Feig. Whose CV includes The Brilliant Bridesmaids, The Divisive Ghostbusters, The Last Christmas, also divisive, but largely on the not great side, and then Another Simple Favor, which for my money was one of the worst films released in 2025. This is a step up from that, although frankly, slicing off the end of your thumb with a cheese grater is better than that. So the tagline, can you keep a secret? This is a movie that I think imagines itself to be a throwback to the great days of, psychological film noir. In fact, it is almost indistinguishable from that spate of sort of sub-erotic thriller, property horror, yuppie type yarns that filled the shelves of Blockbuster Video in the 1990s. So Sydney Sweeney, she of the controversial jeans advert and all the rest of it, is Millie, housemaid, sleeping in her car, desperately in need of work, which she finds at the swanky home of Amanda Seyfried's Nina Winchester, who is this controlling, rich housewife, mother to an annoyingly bratish daughter, and wife of the unbelievably hunky Andrew, Brandon Sklenar, whose smile and smarmy demeanor tells us right from the very beginning that he is not what he seems. Of course, no one in the film is what they seem. Millie hasn't mentioned that she's on parole. Nina doesn't fess up immediately to the fact that she spent some time in psych wards. And Andrew fails to mention that this isn't his first time at the rodeo, fellas. Now, I say first time at the rodeo, fellas, because that, of course, is a line from Mommy Dearest. And that is a deliberate connection because everything in this film is overcooked. I mean, it's essentially, it's an overcooked comedy posing as a psychological thriller in which everything goes up to 11. This is a clip of Millie's arrival at the house and her introduction to Andrew, who would have been here earlier, but he's been detained at his handsome lessons. Here's a clip.
Hi, you must be Cece. I'm Millie.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
Hi, you met Millie. Hi, baby. Millie's gonna be living with us, and she's gonna be helping with the cooking and the cleaning. And you know what? She might even play Candyland with you if you ask her with a pretty please.
She's gonna live with us.
Yes, Andrew, I told you that. I said she was gonna be living in the guest room in the attic. Doesn't this place look incredible? Look at it. Thank you.
Well, Millie, welcome.
Thank you.
Are you hungry? I'm sure we can turn this dinner for 3 into a dinner for 4.
No, I'm probably just gonna go upstairs and get all settled in.
You sure?
If you don't mind, I'll just come down afterwards and tidy up.
Yeah, get settled. Take your time. We're so happy that you're here.
Yeah. And there are no points for guessing that nobody is really happy that they're there or to be there, because Millie can't stand Nina and she doesn't get on with the kid. And she's sort of right from the beginning kind of got the hots for Andrew, who does a lot of walking around in a vest, in a vest that shows off his huge arms and pecs.
I do that. I do that.
Yeah, but you don't probably do it in the kind of way that he does it. It's probably that's more in a John Major way, isn't it?
Maybe if Sydney Sweeney was walking around, I would. No, I wouldn't do it then either.
No, you wouldn't. Absolutely not. So anyway, and he smiles a lot, which is something he was taught to do by his Ice Queen mother, who is played by Elizabeth Perkins, who seems to be the one person in the whole thing who has really got the measure of it and has realised that, okay, fine, I know where we are. We're in Mommy Dearest territory. So again, there's no surprise for thinking, Nina is going to get increasingly crazy and that Millie and Andrew will get increasingly crazy. And anyone, if you remember any of those films like Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Sleeping with the Enemy, Single White Female, any number of those kind of slightly sexy, scary, yuppie property things, it's kind of one of those. What is surprising is just how much cheese Paul Feig decides to pour all over this smorgasbord of borrowed riffs and B-movie tropes. I mean, some of the sexy time scenes are, I mean, literally, you're going, hey, I can't now. Is this ironic or is it deliberately naff? Because I actually can't tell. And because as with Mommy Dearest, the best kind of camp is the camp that sort of happens by mistake. But it's not like Paul Feig doesn't know what camp is. And there are some cues, there are some musical cues, which are just, okay, again, are we laughing at it or are we laughing with it? And the intimacy, the intimacy scenes. They're like there was a guy who used to direct erotic thrillers in the 90s called Jag Mundra, and this literally makes Jag Mundra look like Stanley Kubrick's edgier brother. And at first, you find yourself laughing at the movie, and then later you're laughing with it, but you're still wondering as you're laughing because the last section of it goes, crazy, go nuts. You think, okay, fine. Maybe have they been in on the joke all the time? The whole thing is trash. I mean, whether knowingly or accidentally, I'm genuinely not sure. It's 2.25 hours long, and it needed to be shorter than that. But I saw it in the same screening as Simon Brew. Simon Brew from Film Stories was there. And we both came out at the end, and Simon said the same thing, which was the wheels really come off in the last half an hour. And that's the thing that you remember. In a way, I think because the last half hour is, well, 3/4 of an hour is what it is like. It's like, okay, well, that was clearly, they knew that all along, that was the tone of the film. But I did keep thinking, this is Mummy Dearest remade as a straight-to-video 90s erotic thriller. And it's trash. It's cheesy trash, but entertaining. And like I said, you'll just find yourself going, am I laughing with or at it? It doesn't matter because I'm kind of enjoying the nonsense of it.
Yeah, because cheesy trash can be good. There's a type of cheesy trash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, is that a 15, would you say? Probably?
I can tell you exactly what it is. It is because I was going to get the BBC advice, 15 for strong violence, injury detail, sex, sexual violence, and very strong language.
Okay. 15 all round then, I would say.